let's just get straight into the match as soon as we can. See who's going to take this. Is it going to be a return to the top of EU for Joreuz? Is it going to be yet another tournament victory in one of the most decorated 1v1 careers that we've ever seen? Or is Toxiic going to get his first big win? We have got the Cinderella story against the legend Joreuz. What a win it would be for Toxiic. No better player to beat to get your first tournament win than someone who's won more tournaments than pretty much anyone in the past 4 years. Well, if Toxiic's going to do that, he's going to need to get past some spectacular defense that Joreuz has had on show today. Big help will be what you've seen right there. His kickoff is absolutely world class. I think he should have Joreuz's number there. Joreuz is going to need to use all the tricks that he's been using today to try and get himself as many advantages as he can. Okay, immediately Toxiic hard counters Joreuz half flip kickoff. Maybe I should stop calling it hard counter because it is 100 boost in defense against 100 boost and possession in offense, so maybe a soft counter, but Toxiic counters it nonetheless. I'm not sure Joreuz will mind too much about having to defend with 100 boost though for a full pitch dribble, because his defense today has been very impressive. I think that's been for me the highlight compared to what we're used to seeing from Joreuz. He usually just relentlessly attacks and doesn't have to defend, but today he's had to defend. He's had to defend against everybody that he's played, and he's done so brilliantly, just making huge reads on everybody that he plays against. So I expect he's going to do more of that today. Okay, Toxiic's going to capitalize on an accidental backflip on the spot there from Joreuz. Not sure what happened on that one. Yeah, I've updated the title again just in case it didn't refresh on the back end. It seems like it's having some issues refreshing today, but it should be there right now. And thank you, by the way, to Outify11 for the Prime, Fall Crash for the Prime, Soul16 for the 20-month Prime, and 4-month Prime from RNation122. Appreciate the new subs and the resubs. Hope you're enjoying the tournament today. Well, Joreuz accidentally backflips for the second Toxiic goal, and now he's accidentally backflipped for one of his goals. Joreuz maybe capitalizing on Toxiic overestimating him on that play. Sounds good? Okay, thank you for letting me know. That's a good kickoff now for Joreuz. He's got to make the most of it though. I think Toxiic's really going to try and get a ton of pressure on him early. Mostly off the ball. He's very good at just putting himself in positions where his opponent has to be afraid of bumps, trips, demos, the whole lot. Joreuz slow air dribbles over him. Complete counter to where Toxiic's position. Toxiic in no man's land a little bit here. I think he was trying to make it as blatantly obvious that he was challenging that Joreuz wouldn't expect it, but Joreuz still saw it coming and takes the lead by 1. Toxiic bumped into the boost. He put himself in a position to achieve exactly that outcome, and now he's got a great bounce for himself to work with. Decides to catch it instead, and the big flick is definitely threatening. Toxiic's got a monstrous flick, if you're not aware. And it's definitely a challenge for Joreuz on that one. Joreuz is taking his time here. He knows Toxiic is so far out of the game, and that's great composure from Joreuz. No panic, no rush on the shot. He saw Toxiic fly past the ball. He just flew out of the way of it as it was bouncing and made sure to roll it into the open net. Like I said earlier, by the way, if you're having any issues trying to register for ProDrops, just message them on Twitter. They are at ProDropsGame. I don't have the answers to any of your questions at the moment in Twitch chat, but I'm sure that ProDrops would be glad to help you with any questions you may have. Well, suddenly Joreuz is up by 3 goals. This is getting a bit one-sided. Toxiic can't allow this to happen because Joreuz's possession play is, of course, fantastic. He will run down the clock while gradually continuing to win every position that you put him in if you allow him a chance to get in the zone. And again, he's just doing the same thing once again. This air dribbling up high, wasting a bit of time, continuing to keep the ball under control. Now Toxiic's got a chance at it, and what shot that is. Joreuz was kind of in position to defend a shot, but didn't expect it to be that good. He jumped maybe a little bit too early there. If he just boosted a touch more on the ground before jumping, I think he might have had that, but he expected the shot at a slightly different angle. Toxiic surprising him with the top corner. Do I know why pros never change the default engine sound? I don't think most pros really care too much about the engine sound, it's whatever, but also like the defaults they just sound normal, so I think normal engine sounds are preferable for most. I know there's a lot of really silly engine sounds, but if you have to listen to that all day, you're probably going to get tilted, especially if you're trying to be a professional. Or in the case of many, you are a professional. You're from the future, you come to tell us that Joreuz wins the series 4-2. Interesting. Interesting prediction you got there. I don't know if Joreuz meant to pinch this backwards, but Toxiic probably didn't expect it either. I know Joreuz has a full pitch to dribble with again. It's really causing problems for Toxiic with these standard air dribbles. Toxic's expecting Joreuz to play for more resets. He's jumping up early to counter that, and then Joreuz just keeps on hitting the ball. Whether Toxic's expecting an air dribble bump or whether he's expecting an air dribble reset, he's not expecting what Joreuz has thrown at him. Is Toxiic S tier? Toxiic, I'd say, is like, you know, A tier right at the moment. After his recent results. You know, Joreuz probably dropped down to A tier after a few show match losses, but this will be his return to S tier, no doubt. With stunning wins over Luis and Raziers in a tournament today. And this would just be the exclamation mark if he can take it over Toxiic in the grand final as well. So far, so good in game one. Oh my goodness, what a save. Joreuz inviting the shot from Toxiic, only then to force him to waste a bit more time before scoring. Not a stunning win over Gom. Well, I mean, Joreuz is expected to beat Gom, so it's less of a, you know, you can't call it a stunning win if it's expected. No offense to Gom, but Joreuz is supposed to win that one. Whereas Luis and Joreuz more recently have been quite close in most people's rankings. Same thing with Joreuz and Raziers, again, quite close in people's rankings, so beating them in style in high, you know, highly mechanical matches, definitely very impressive. So just a little bit more time gone and this will be over. Toxic's trying to force the issue, needs to make something happen now if he's going to have any chance of coming back, and that chance is just dwindling with every passing second. Joreuz has wasted sufficient time, and this is what I was referring to when I said that, oh, hold on a second, is that just in? My goodness, what a pinch that would have been from Toxiic. Game would have been over, but still. But Joreuz is very good at just wasting time by playing his game. He doesn't really have to switch up his style in order to let the clock win the game for him. He just does his usual thing. He air dribbles the ball around the place, recovers quickly, keeps his boost high. So you cannot let the goal gap open up too much against him, or he's just going to make it so hard for you to come back. Especially with the amount of fake kickoffs he's gone for today. I feel like Joreuz, more than anyone else we've seen in this tournament, is just likely to get a kickoff to get to midfield play instead of conceding immediately. I believe he did concede immediately one time in the last game. But it's not been too bad, despite the fact Toxic's kickoff's been relentless in this tournament. Yeah, Toxiic does have a decent record against Moxie. You know, I was predicting Moxie to win based on the form that Moxie was playing in this tournament compared to Toxiic. Toxiic was playing well, but Moxie was playing really well when he took down Luis, preventing a reverse, or actually reverse sweeping him. So that's why I was leaning more Moxie, but yeah, he definitely beamed it today. And it's not even a, for lack of a better word, situation. I think beamed it absolutely describes Moxie's performance at times against Toxiic. Toxic's peak though, he's really played his best tournament I've ever seen him play. Joreuz kind of just jumping through the ball there. That's a bit of a weird interaction. Looks like he might have leaned forward a bit too much into that and just bounced off the top of the ball. The same way that you don't want to lean too far back when you're trying to go for a flip reset recovery, or a wave dash recovery I should say. You also don't want to lean too far forward or your car can just fall. You could just bounce off the top of the ball. Take a bit too much of an impact upwards. That was a really good save by Toxiic moments ago, but his shot does nothing more than give Joreuz free boost and the ball to play with. Joreuz crunches another shot from midfield. Toxiic deflects it into his crossbar. So these are good saves by Toxiic, but they're not getting him possession. Joreuz tries a ceiling pinch now. We've seen so many pinches in this tournament. Mostly for Moxie, but Toxiic and Joreuz both attempting a couple in the last games we've seen. Toxiic not falling for Joreuz tricks there. Joreuz is trying to leave the back corner boost up so that Toxiic would overextend for it and leave the net open down the middle of the pitch. And then Toxiic tried the exact same thing to Joreuz on the very next play. Both players just trying to outposition each other here. Looks like Toxic's won the positioning war. He's got an open net. Joreuz thought he was going to be able to catch up and demo him, but he was just a bit too far behind. Her boost ran out right before he could connect, and Toxiic got away from him safely. How different players between tournament and show matches and 1v1 lands? Well, 1v1 lands, I've seen very nervous plays, mostly Gamers 8, and also the show matches at Worlds. I've seen even players like TRK look nervous playing a best of one. And on the World stage, that was just a LAN show match, but very, very nervous situation. And yet even Jack forgot his other kickoff strats against KV1 when they matched up in a show match at Worlds. So yeah, I think that LANs are obviously going to be incredibly nerve-wracking experiences if you're playing 1v1. I've told you guys on my stream many times, but Scrubkiller told me, and this was quite a bit into his threes career, he said that the most nervous he'd ever been playing Rocket League was at League of Rockets 12 Titans 2 grand final against Fairy Peak, which was played without a crowd but still on land where they're sitting not too far away from each other playing for $10,000 in one game. So yeah, 1v1 already very nerve-wracking experience because you don't have teammates to help you, but on top of that, if it's on LAN, my goodness, it's just going to be compounded tenfold. Joreuz trying his half flip kickoff again. Toxic's the first guy who's tried to slow dribble him. Everyone else who's seen this has taken a shot. Joreuz has dispatched of that just as easily as everyone who takes a shot. 4 out of 4 for this kickoff strategy today. Every time he half flips into his net, I think he's 4 out of 4. 4 out of 5, someone's saying, I think it's 4 out of 4, isn't it? I don't remember a fifth one, but I might be wrong. Everyone else who's seen that has tried to shoot into Joreuz. I think Toxiic probably knew that based on the fact that the first try he's given, Joreuz is different from everyone else's. But even that didn't work. I feel like, similarly to the diagonal spawn half flip kickoff, I think the best strategy is probably to just dribble the ball back. I think it's probably the way to counter it, is just dribble the ball back into defense. Joreuz has missed an open net here. He might still go for it. Jumps away instead. No counter attack for Toxiic. 4 out of 5. Raziers did him. What did Raziers beat him with again? Totally forgotten that. But yeah, 4 out of 5 still a really, really good record for a kickoff, even if it is 4 out of 5, not 4 out of 4. I think Raziers got him not on the half flip on the straight spawn. I think you're remembering Raziers scoring on him when he half flipped on diagonal. Because Raziers did dribble him one time when Joreuz half flipped on diagonal spawn. Raziers dribbled him. But I don't think Raziers dribbled him when he half flipped straight into his net. I might be wrong. Again, trying to remember. I don't remember Raziers getting an outplay on him. Was that a game winner? Really? How do I not remember that? My goodness. Well, there's been a lot of goals today, so that's probably why. So Joreuz just got a direct kickoff goal there, so that's well played. Yeah, a lot of people saying 4 out of 4. Somebody's remembering 4 out of 5. I think it's 4 out of 4. I'm gonna back myself. Oh, well, I think Toxiic accidentally dropped the flick there, but almost got a bump set up off the back of it. Joreuz saw that coming, jumped to safety, and took the ball away as he left the net open. Just about. Toxiic tried the mind game. Recovery comes through. Big bump from Toxiic now. Can Joreuz recover? No, he can't. Toxiic has missed the open net. You've got to be joking. How can this keep happening? What? Oh no, and he missed it in the worst possible way. He thought he's getting a flat bounce. It just bounced up over him. He's still in with a shot here. Needs to play out the rest of the game to an absolute perfect level. And that's just not going to do it. Joreuz with a post-pinch save makes it almost impossible for Toxiic to come back. He's turned around brilliantly there, but can he get the ball past Joreuz? Tries for the air double bump. Joreuz has saved it, and the ball wasn't even going in anyway. Joreuz still stays safe from the air double bump. Well, Toxiic has really thrown that one away. Joreuz still had an advantage, but what a miss. What a miss. Toxiic into the grand final off a Moxie open net miss. Now he's passed it along. It seems like Moxie started something here. I wonder who Joreuz is going to pass that one along to when he next plays. 2-0. Toxiic will need to dig deep here. Joreuz is not dipping off in form at all. He does need a timeout. We don't do timeout, so. NA is so clear of EU. What, in 1v1? Or 3s? I mean, that statement's incorrect in both cases, but I want to know which. Vatira said he would love to be invited for my show matches. I'd love to cast more Vatira show matches. I was watching First Touch today. It's a really good podcast on the Rocket League channel. If you're not aware, I'm sure most of you are. Yeah, it's the pattern is repeating itself. The same pattern is repeating itself. It happens every season. Like, going into RLCS Season X, NA declared themselves the superior region, and then we didn't get any lands, so SMAD had to settle it, and EU won. SMAD was the closest thing to international competition we got. EU was victorious. RLCS Season 21-22, pre-season, NA declared themselves the best region based on nothing. Lose fall major. And now it's happened again. NA's declared themselves the best region based on nothing. Based on absolutely nothing. You want to know a crazy statistic? Chat, I got it right today. I couldn't say I kept saying statistic last night, but today I got a statistic, so good job me. You want to know a crazy fact? No North American team has won a European LAN on European soil unless they have a European playing for them. So really, the only hope that NA have is that Gen G can win the LAN for them, because there's never been an NA team victorious in an EU LAN unless they have an EU player playing for them. The one time it happened was, of course, Turbopulsa and NRG. So, yeah, you better all be rooting for Gen G, because historically, 3 NA players can't win an EU. Just never happens. In fact, last time there was an EU LAN, no NA teams even made the final. Same thing, last time there was a Middle East LAN, no NA teams made the final, you know? It seems like NA is only making finals in their own continent, or when they get to play against themselves in the semis. Has NA got any semi-final victories over EU outside of the Winter Major? I don't think so. His history doesn't bode well for NA. I mean, I think people are underrating Oxygen, because Oxygen didn't have good online performances for the past 2 regionals. I think they're probably going to be grinding pretty hard for the Major, if I was to guess. And I think they're going to show up. I think Team Liquid's probably going to be grinding for the Major. They've already shown that they can perform on land, so expect both those teams to do well. Then you've got Quadrant Moist, or the other 2 teams. I mean, EU's looking pretty stacked in my opinion. It's looking pretty stacked. I don't know why everybody's saying that NA's clear. I don't see it. Like, NA's just the same as last year. Space Station have made a sideways move. FaZe have made a sideways move. G2 are literally the same team. V1's literally the same team. The only difference is that 2 Europeans moved over there and clapped everybody. Like, that's literally the only difference. So I don't see it going much different from last season internationally. I think FaZe will make top 4, 4th killer back again. V1 will probably be underrated. Most people are going to eliminate them too early, then they're going to get like top 8 and continue being like top 8 Andes. And then you've got G2 kind of up in the air how they're going to perform. Same thing about SSG, they're pretty inconsistent recently. And then Gen G, oh my goodness, what is this from Joreuz? Is that a pogo pre-jump in defense? Well, it didn't work, but that was pretty cool. Look at this. Look at this launch off the wall. He actually doesn't have a dodge here, so I don't know about that. Freestyle defense from Joreuz. Unlike the actual pogo strategy, you don't have a dodge when you jump into the wall and do this. So it's a very, very speculative effort. Joreuz feeling confident in his team. top 8 NA is looking better than top 8 EU. I mean, this is always the argument though. NA looks better online. But the problem about rating NA online is that online, NA teams only play against NA teams. And we've already established, based on SMAD, all of the international LANs that have happened since then, that NA is trash. Like, NA teams are bad. So of course you're going to look good if you're playing against trash. So, like, we've got to stop using NA beating NA as logic to prove that NA is good. Like, NA's never done hasn't done anything good internationally except 1 LAN out of 5. There's been 6 international events in the past, like, 2 years. NA's done well in 1 of them. And so we've got to stop using NA beating NA regionally as evidence that they're going to win LANs. It's just not accurate logic. Why is every NA fan and every NA analyst saying that NA is clear favourites for the fall major when they said the same thing last season and got clapped? It's like actually the same logic again. Oh, and EU looks weak, therefore NA's going to win. NA looks better, therefore NA's going to win. Well, NA's playing against NA teams, of course they look better. NA's just easy to play against. NA style. I will admit though, Gen G look like the best team in the world. If they can produce their playoff form on LAN, they're probably the best team. I think a lot of people are saying KC. I think I'd lean Gen G personally, just slightly. I think they're the top 2, but whether or not Gen G can make it out of Swiss remains to be seen, because they've been a bit inconsistent in Swiss, and I think the pressure could get to them a bit more than KC. I think KC's style is easier to replicate under pressure than Gen G's is, so all depends on whether or not they can handle it on LAN. Well, Joreuz is handling Toxiic surprisingly easily. I think he has just been different today. Toxiic starting to lose confidence. Joreuz freestyled a save for one of the Toxiic goals, so you can chalk that one off to Joreuz actually trolling. No disrespect to Toxiic, but you take what you can get, and Toxiic has, with 8 seconds to go, managed to put one past him. Joreuz's air double bump defense has been good today, so that's really well done by Toxiic to connect. Now, can he get a good kickoff strat straight spawn? Not ideal to create volatility. And it does lean a little bit Joreuz's favor. Toxiic tries to pinch him. Joreuz saw it coming, and he might just try and bump this one clear. No, going for the double into the ground. Joreuz, safe play out as usual. And now quad match point for the Dutchman. It looks like another tournament win for one of the greatest of all time. NA playing NA, meanwhile Complexity, Gen J and Furia in their region. I mean, I wouldn't use Gen G being in the region as evidence that NA is good, because Gen G are 2 EU players who were not dominating EU by any stretch of the imagination, moved to NA, picked up a bubble player and became the best team by miles. Like, that's not evidence of NA being good at all. And yeah, Furia sound like they're making a roster change according to recent rumors, so they might be having some issues that we were not aware of going into this season. Complexity can't hit on open net. Actually just can't open it. I've never seen a team miss more open nets. Like, honestly, like, if that's your bar for being good, I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. I'm actually very hopeful for the club doing really well, because Furia aren't going to be at this this LAN. Of course, they didn't qualify. But I think the club could step up and fill Furia's shoes. Obviously, Furia were the team from South America for the past like 4 international LANs. Winter, Spring, G8 and Worlds. But I think the club are going to be sick. The club look like they're in unbelievable form, and now they've got a little bit of LAN experience, a little bit of international LAN experience as well. A little bit more. Some of them already did have. Yeah, type 1 in chat if you've not watched any of this. It's fine if you haven't. There's a lot of Rocket League to watch. You shouldn't feel obliged to watch all of it. But it's type 1 in chat if you've not watched any of South America this split. Not watched any of the club. Because you're in for a treat if your introduction of them is going to be international play. Yeah, a lot of people. And like I said, there's a lot of Rocket League to watch. So no one is telling you should be watching all the Rocket League. You just got to watch the Rocket League you want to watch. And you can do a little bit of catch up at what other teams have been up to when international majors come around. Oh, nearly a very sneaky shot there by Joreuz. Who's on the club? Well, the club have kept 2/3 of the same roster they had for Worlds. It was the Astromic KV1 lost roster. They have benched KV1, or removed KV1, I should say, and picked up Bems instead. Now, Bems has been popping off. He's been really, really impressive. And everybody knows what Astromic can do. He's a demon. And everyone knows that Lost is literally one of the best players in the world. So that team's won every single SAM regional, something Furia didn't do in any of the splits last season. And they look really, really scary. Yeah, KV1's still going to be there with his new team, Team Secret. So KV1's still going to be on land, just a different team this time. So Toxic's in the good position for the first time this series, really. Oh dear, well, he's lost out on a very awkward exchange here in the midfield. Both players side by side. Looks like Toxic was the first one to try and break free from that. Bumped Joreuz just ever so slightly. Thought he had a free touch on the ball, but he misses it. And Joreuz walks the ball into the net. He's still in a decent spot. Kills the bounce first time though. I don't think he meant to do that. But oh, he played well off it. Okay. Well, Toxic rolled the ball on target. And this is pretty much the only way that he could have scored. So he's come up with something. Just the good old-fashioned Rizzo demo that is well known as a strategy employed by one of the greatest players to ever come out of North America. Joreuz leaves the back corner boost up, baits Toxic to go for it, and makes him look pretty silly by scoring miles before Toxic can recover. Toxic actually tried this same move on Joreuz earlier on in the series, so I'm surprised that he fell for this. Rizzo cringe? Yeah, the Rizzo cringe dribble is what that is. Yeah, I'm not even sure if he meant to kill the bounce, because he completely killed the bounce. That eliminates the majority of dribbling moves. He could have air dribbled, didn't go for that. Joreuz, Pogo, 50 with the reset. Wave dash landing. Toxic's back quicker than him though. Yeah, sometimes you don't get the touch you wanted in ones, and you've just got to play the best thing you can come up with on the fly. Plan B, if you will, but not the plan B the freestylers would be thinking about. Club making top 8 at Worlds easy. Well, I don't think top 8 is going to be easy for anyone at Worlds because it's stacked. OCE's looking good. Apex never looked better. So everybody's looking really, really strong. But yeah, I think they could definitely make top 8. I totally agree with that. There's probably going to be like at least one NA and one EU team that just completely choke. Like there's usually one that just don't play well from each. The wildcard is the only time that didn't happen. So if you can scratch off one of them each, then you've just got to have like the club and whoever else you want to make top 8 beat one of the others. And yeah, that's definitely possible. Club are going to be dangerous for anyone to go up against. Oh, that's a great touch by Joreuz. He's got options here. He's got that top corner unlocked, but accidentally, I think, drops it bottom corner instead. Well, I'm pretty sure Joreuz is looking at that top corner. He's eyeing it up. It's looking pretty juicy, and then he hits the ball with the back end of the car instead of the front end as it loops around, which drops the ball into the bottom corner. So kind of bizarre there. Now here comes his half-flip kickoff strat again. Toxic going to be the first player to dribble the ball away from him, but not into the back corner, into the side. And similar to when players try this against the diagonal spawn half-flip, it's not enough time. You have to get the ball to the back corner against players half-flipping in ones. You can't do it. You're not going to get away if you go to the side boost and they just charge you down with all the momentum they've got. Joreuz is 5 out of 5 with that strat. Awesome to see yet another kickoff strat into the meta. Toxic trying to pogo on him here. Wait a minute. He's pogo dunked him. Well, Joreuz had no idea what was hitting him here. Thought the touch was coming earlier. Tried to 50 and Toxic delayed his own mid-air challenge to dunk on him. 1 goal game. Toxic pops off. Can he ride that wave into an equalizer? Joreuz is forced to the back corner. 100 boost is there for him. Toxic looking for a late touch on that one, but Joreuz was there to save it. Pinch clear. Boost management for Joreuz is key. Toxic tries to bump, but Joreuz flies right over him now. Joreuz is going to go for the air dribble from distance. High flick is good. Joreuz is up by 2. He is deadly. He is consistent. And he is now just 23 seconds away from winning this tournament with a sweep in the grand final. He's had it all today. He's had the strats, he's had the mechs, he's had the tricks. And Toxiic has tried just about everything himself. Joreuz has had answers for him at every step of the way. 7-4. Putting this one to bed. Toxiic, I'm sure, will try something here. He'll try for a kickoff goal, most likely going goal side and forcing left. No, goes to the right. Okay, not going to work. Usually, if you need a kickoff goal, your best's going to go inside, but he tries outside. Doesn't work. GG's. Toxiic still with, I think, his best tournament run yet, but that last hurdle was a bit too high. Joreuz at the top of Europe once again. GG's. GG's. Joreuz says thanks Johnny and ProDrops for the tournament. Thank you for playing, Joreuz. Absolute banging matchups, banging display. EU wins once again. Insane. Joreuz, remember, he lost to Atto to start off this tournament, so he's gone on 4 straight wins since then, taking down Gom, Luis, Braziers and Toxiic back to back to back to back. He's in form. Very impressive stuff.